Welcome back to the new season of Through the Looking Glass podcast.
What was that? Welcome.
Oh, hey, Adam's not here, so I thought I would do him the honor by keeping the tradition, but change it up a little bit. If you want to do the intros, I will start. You will do the intros. Then that means I get to do the outro. That means goodbye is gone, or it's gonna be.
You can do intro.
Yeah, Adam dropped out of the podcast. He has a couple of different projects going, as he mentioned the last time we shot an episode, which was several months ago now. So we've picked up the extra work. I'm going to start doing the editing and everything. And, yeah, so a lot has happened. Donald Trump won. Thank God, really.
The earth is saved.
Yeah. Who knows where we would have been right now if Kamala had won. I don't think a lot of good would be happening. I know by now we probably would have sent another $100 billion to Ukraine, and the government would be running as per usual, and we would be none the wiser. So.
Aren't they paying us back in minerals or something?
Yeah, that was going to be the agreement, that we were no longer going to just give them free funding, that there was going to be an agreement. If you want any more money from us, then we need your raw materials. And that's why Zelensky came to the White House, is they were going to hash out the details for it. And then that whole spat happened in the White House. I don't know if Zelensky was being disrespectful. He seemed really on edge that he was actually having to have a real conversation with a president that's we come first, not you.
Yeah.
So
that isn't going to just hand him money for no reason.
Yeah, just roll over for it. Yeah. And I understand the argument with it, with, we made this agreement 50 years ago. If Ukraine gave up their nuclear arsenal, we would protect them from Russian incursions. I understand that we did that, but did you vote for that? I didn't vote for that.
Live.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for that agreement. Why should we be held liable for that? It makes no sense.
Times have changed
drastically, and seeing as how NATO was basically knocking on Russia's door. It's we went against our agreement with Russia first.
Yeah.
I don't understand what the big problem is with Russia. I get Vladimir Putin is a dictator, and he's basically kept himself in power for a long time now. But they're their own country. They want to do what they want to do. Ukraine used to be a part of Russia. They were a sovereign nation, then the USSR, and then they were invaded by the USSR, became a satellite state, just like many countries did under the communist Soviet Union. Mm-hmm. So I get it, but so is the argument that we said, Ukraine, give up your nukes, because if you get invaded, you're going to then use your nukes? So if you get rid of them, you won't have to use your nukes because we'll protect you. That's it kind of sounds like a kid at school is if you touch me, I'll kill your mom. It's a little extreme, isn't it? We're still on the brink of World War III, of course, right?
Yeah, not as close, I don't think.
Yeah.
It seems to have died down quite a bit. At least I haven't seen too much news of China, North Korea, and Taiwan, that whole thing over there. Haven't heard a lot of it lately. And the Ukraine, Russia has died down from...
everything was silent for a long time, But now all the blue and yellow flags are back out. The thing with North Korea, it's weird because the news, as being told, is that North Korea now has an agreement with Russia, and they're sending North Korean troops to Russia, to the front. So it's a little bit involved. And then China, of course, is always posturing about taking Taiwan.
Yeah.
Because they're always going to.
Aren't they skirmishing with Japan, too?
Are they? China?
Maybe not. Thought I heard something about them messing with Japan a little bit.
Ooh, that'll get nasty.
Maybe it was a dream. I don't know.
I hope so, because that would not end very well. Yeah, the world stage is still a very dangerous place, and global politics and economies, just like we're just two guys that live in Elmira, so what do we really know other than what we're told?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we ain't on the front lines.
Yeah. I'm pleasantly surprised with JD Vance. I like him. He's doing really well. He's a very strong speaker.
Yep.
I didn't think he was going to be this good with interviews.
Yep. I guess Pence wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think Trump only really accepted Pence because of the evangelical. How do you say it? Evangelical. Wow, I can't say this word.
What?
Evangelicals?
Oh, yeah, evangelical.
Yeah. I cannot say that word.
Just
found a word I can't say.
Okay, yeah.
Evangelicals?
Yeah,
evangelicals. That was the thing that I heard for a while, is that
Just to solidify more voters.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I haven't seen much about Pence. I never was really interested in him. I wasn't even deeply involved in politics back then, 2015, 16, 17. I remember I was at work and I just heard, oh, Trump has won the election. All right, cool. And then a couple of years later, I was like, what is happening right now? This is weird.
Yeah, we were just slinging pizzas at that time.
Yeah. That was the only thing. Well, I mean, I had my family that I was working towards, so like, that's all I cared about. I was trying to do what I believed I needed to do then. And politics was like in the back of the mind. Mm-hmm. And then I just thought, the guy from The Apprentice won? That's funny.
Yeah, that election is when I started paying attention a little bit.
Yeah, I just remember hearing a few things about Bernie's politics and some of his things. And I actually liked him. I liked some of his proposals. Yep. And then he got railroaded by Hillary.
Shoved him out of the way.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not interested anymore then. Because Bernie was talking some real stuff. But then after he got shoved out of the way, he just kind of became another shill. And a lot of the stuff he started saying was kind of weird and
went
nonsensical.
From millionaires to billionaires.
Yeah, and then the whole thing with healthcare as a human right sounded good back in the day. But then after like looking a little bit more into it this last couple of years, getting involved in politics and like seeing the economic toll on it, it was like, oh, that's not possible. Like the only reason why a lot of these countries have like universal health care is because we're subsidizing their entire military. It's like, yeah, it's real easy to afford free health care for your citizens when the United States is footing like $180 billion militaries for you. It's pretty easy to do. Yeah. If that goes away, your health care goes away. Like, it's not feasible. It's not plausible. It won't happen. So, Donald Trump won. Fantastic news. A lot of people were kicking and screaming. That night was fantastic. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of liberal commentators and things like that, like Cenk Uygur. Whoo, that was fantastic. Candace Owens had her like panel of people, and they were watching the election live, and Cenk was on like a big screen right behind them, and they were like having a back and forth. Oh, Cenk's face. Seeing the look on that smug prick's face. Oh, he just was like, this is real. Oh my God. He started to change his tune a little bit. Have you noticed him like changing?
I don't watch him, but from the clips I've seen, he's toned it down.
Yeah, he's becoming a little bit more moderate, and he's trying to rein in kind of the progressive left to like, hey guys, we're never going to win an election if we keep going like this. Like, clearly what we're doing is wrong.
They might never win again. Well,
which honestly I think is kind of bad.
Give it 20 years.
Yeah, but I think that's actually kind of bad. Because it's supposed to be kind of like a back and forth where the middle is like, okay, the right went too far on this, so we're going to go to the left. The left went a little bit too far with this, so we're going to go back to the right. If it's just straight conservative for 20 years, I can see a detriment with that. Like if we go a little bit too far. Because every generation is going to push a little bit further in that direction because that's just how it works. 20 years ago, being a liberal is now puts you on the right. Like saying abortion up to 8 weeks is okay. Gay people getting married is fine. We don't really care about none of that. Just leave us alone. We want our bodily autonomy. We want to be left alone. We want our civil liberties and our freedoms. And now it's like, you won't let us trans kids. You're a fascist Nazi. Yeah. What?
Yeah, you're on the extreme far right.
Yeah. I always heard, I'm sure you heard this too, that as you grow up, you get more conservative.
Yeah.
And I think the real saying is, as you grow up, your ideals stay the same, but each side just kind of shoots further off. And that's, I think, what it is. I mean, history kind of shows that. Like, the extremes get a little bit more extreme. And the saying where the Republicans are just holding on or like pressing on the brakes to the left, like, hold on there, Democrats. It feels like that's actually true. It's like we're just kind of trying to slow it down a little bit. You're going a little bit too fast.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the last two, you look at the Biden and Barack, and it was not good. Not good. They left a very sour taste in a lot of Democrats' mouths, and a lot of them ended up switching over. And it's going to be tough for them to win an election in the next 20 years, I think.
Maybe. They have a very heavy propaganda train going right now, and they're just going to keep doing the same thing that they always done. They're going to target younger people. And they're just going to keep targeting younger people.
Yeah, they have to target the people that don't know much.
Yeah. And I think that's of course something I've heard a lot of conservative talking heads talk about. It was like they go after the kids, they do this, they try to get the ill-informed. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yes, we know they do. What are we doing to stop it? And nothing. It's like, okay, so we're just going to let them continue to do this. Because right now, I think in America, we have a really bad communist problem. It's real bad. There's a lot of Marxists. And they're not even like hippie free society Marxists. They're tankies. Like, there's a lot of people who are straight tankies in this country right now who are talking about, no, the government needs to control everything. Yeah. You're stupid. And progressive is the future. It's like, I don't know if I want the government taking over that much of my life. Thanks. That's a little wild. Was there anything in particular that you thought was real interesting these last several months?
I mean, border is looking better.
It is.
They're doing mass deportations. They're securing the border.
That's actually quieted down a little bit. Like it was big for a couple of weeks, and they started like counting the numbers and showing the mass deportations. I know that border crossings are essentially back to the numbers when Trump was in office. His first round, which is fantastic.
They're allowed to stop him again.
Yeah, and there was a lot of crying. Oh my God, they're being fascist and doing this, and it was like
they're showing videos of.
Yeah. Of everything,
the guard,
crying woman, and
tackling men, and look how they're beating him. It's like
this dude has been charged with 3 felony crimes. It's like he needs to go.
Yeah, and then you have traffickers that are smuggling people over. I guess they're making teens do it now because if they catch somebody under the age of 18, they have to just send them back. And the same people have done it dozens of times. They just get sent back, and then, you're 14, 15 years old. They just drive trucks over. If they get caught, they get sent right back. They can just keep doing it over and over.
So they're making, like, teenage boys the traffickers.
The traffickers, yep. Yeah, it's a little loophole.
Yeah, so it sounds like that loophole needs to be fucking snipped.
Yeah.
Get rid of that. That's not a loophole that should exist.
No.
Like, oof. But I mean,
can you jail kids? I mean, if you, right? I don't see why not.
I mean, for heinous crimes in the United States, we don't send, I don't believe, 16-year-olds to prison. But
It
there
has happened.
are
16 and up can be
Okay.
tried for murder and
For-
stuff like
for-
that.
yeah,
and you get
for-
sent to prison. But under 16, I don't think you can. But it's not often.
at that point there's just specialized institutions for young
Yeah.
felons.
Yeah, until you're old enough to go to prison.
I don't know, because as it stands, the way our Constitution works, and I think it's the proper way, even if you're not a U.S. citizen, you are still protected by the Constitution. You have a freedom of speech in America, even if you're not a U.S. citizen. You still have a right to an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and things like that. You have the right to travel across the country unmolested. Even if you're not a U.S. citizen, I believe that is correct, because if we start doing it...
Can they bear arms?
Uh,
Can foreigners just carry guns in here?
There was an argument for that. I don't know where that's gone. I don't think they can, because if they're here illegally, they're in commission of a crime. So, if you're in commission of a crime, you can't have a weapon.
Okay.
So
yeah.
if they do get a weapon, that's just furthering a crime. So there was an argument about that a year or so ago, and then it just kind of went silent.
Yeah,
I think
heard anything about
I think what it was is the left started arguing for gun rights, and they were like, "Oh, we can't do this." That's right, huh? So that got a little muddy for a while. But I think that's the correct thing. That even if you're not a U.S. citizen, you do deserve the rights afforded to you by our Constitution. Because if we start drawing a line at who is afforded the rights in this country, then the line's just going to keep getting pushed as to who gets the rights.
And now if you just make it citizen, end of discussion.
Maybe.
'Cause that would be
But
the
then
line.
who's to stop somebody from saying this criteria now furthers whether or not you're a citizen, right?
Well, it's been the same forever, hasn't it? You go through.
I mean, it was
process,
supposed
you
to
pass
be,
tests,
but I think the terminology of citizenship has changed over time. Like originally, in order to like vote and be considered a citizen of the U.S., you had to be a landowner. Slaves weren't citizens, right? So it has changed over the years, which means it can be changed. We have an amendment for that reason,
that is
right?
true.
So who's to say if you convince enough people to get on the side of something that, oh, even if you're born of two naturalized citizens in the country, you're not a citizen until you sign up for selective service.
Okay.
Therefore, you're not afforded the rights as a citizen. You don't have freedom of speech unless you join the military or become an official of the government. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
yeah. Even if you're not a citizen, you still deserve the rights of the U.S. Constitution. That's the only way to really ensure that it can't be fiddled with. So, but, hey, if you're in this country illegally, that means you've already broken a crime, which means the police have a right to stop you and question you and detain you. Simple as that. You know, if they believe that you are in the commission of a crime, then they have the right to ID you. It's pretty straightforward. Then people will argue, oh, that's just a, what is it called when you just see somebody and then you make a determination based on
Profiling?
yeah. So it's that you're just profiling. Okay, cool. What else do you do, man? Like profile people. That's how you determine what's going on. If I see somebody wearing a ski mask, carrying a TV out of somebody's house at 3:00 in the morning, yeah, I'm going to profile you. There's a chance that you're robbing somebody. You know, that's how that goes. Just today, I learned that Hassan got banned, and I'm very happy with that. I doubt it's going to stick, but you know, you call for the death of people, you kind of lose your right to free speech. You know, that's not. You're not allowed to do that. It's just. I thought everybody in this country would know by now, but then the screaming, "Oh, the free speech absolute is right," and it's like, no, bro, you can't just go around saying you want somebody to be killed. Like Like, that's not free speech. It's not. Did you find anything else interesting in the last couple months? I'm just seeing the shitstorm on X, and it's fun to watch, but it's also infuriating.
Yeah, I don't pay much attention to Twitter. I've been watching some podcasts on YouTube and some news networks and one non-mainstream media because it's
Mainstream's basically dead.
yeah, I am kind of interested to see like what they are doing. I just seen
It's not really worth.
that thing you sent me where
Like just earlier?
yeah
Dude
from NBC quit after Joy Reid lost her show.
Oh yeah. Isn't that is kind of weird, isn't it? Over the last just 4 or 5 years, so many news hosts have been fired from these jobs.
Yeah, leaving, fired, yeah, because
even Fox, like Tucker Carlson, but he's like the only one.
Yeah,
but yeah, all these people, Brian Stelter, Don Lemon's getting let go, and Joy Reid got let go, and it was like
just less viewers. People are not subscribing to their BS.
Yeah, it's either it could be multifactual, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It could be the people that are used to watching the news are dying out because they're getting old.
Yeah,
the new generation, we're all online.
Yeah,
we get our news from the internet.
Yeah, we're watching
Joe Rogan, Timcast, even sometimes the Young Turks with Cenk Uygur. I mean, you got to listen to the other side sometimes. You have to know what they're talking about. There's the Minority Report. Like, there's so many other news organizations, and they're not beholden to, like, one CEO who says, these people give us money. Yeah, these people give us money, so we can't talk bad about them. And I always thought that was so interesting when I go over to my parents and they're watching the news. Every time there's a commercial break, it's pharmaceutical. It's a pharmaceutical company and commercial. It's like, I wonder why they never talk about XYZ on this broadcast. I wonder. Once you take that stuff out of there, I think news gets a little bit more free. But large stations like YouTube, of course, they have their terms of service and stuff, and Twitch has their terms of service. So there are rules to follow, of course, but that's always going to be the case unless a lot of these companies just get big enough, like Timcast. He's gotten large enough. At some point, if he continues, he might be able to create his own network, just like the Daily Wire is. They have their own network.
That would be cool.
I do like a lot of the stuff on Daily Wire.
Yep.
I really like...
I was subscribed for a while.
Yeah?
I like Daily Wire.
I just think it's too expensive. Like $100 a year, is it? I think it was. Or they do 50% off specials a lot.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
And then I was on...
I know Steven Crowder was $100.
I was on Crowder. I was on Mug Club for a year.
Same.
Something like that.
He was always fun to watch.
Got my mug. I tuned in for about 7 or 8 months. I tuned in every single morning.
Every morning. He's just so funny and entertaining to watch. He really is. There was all that debacle with him, though. I think it's going to be hard for him to recover from that.
Yeah, I haven't.
I still don't think he's recovered. Yeah.
Probably about 7 or 8 months after that whole thing with the divorce and the accusations, and I haven't paid attention at all.
He spiraled a little bit with that.
Yeah.
I think he got a little paranoid there, which, granted, might be justified because, I mean, that video did get leaked, and it was only a small clip. He then showed the whole video, and it was like, it's more than just them having a spat back and forth.
Yeah, I only seen the clip. Actually, didn't see.
Yeah, I think he released a couple of minutes extra from it.
Oh, okay.
And she kind of instigated the fight, and I mean, you can't deny the man works hard.
Like,
They get in the studio at 5 o'clock in the morning, and they film for hours. But there was also the issue with Dave Landau and Quarter Black Garrett. They've both come out and said, like, working for him is kind of a nightmare. Your boss is going to be a nightmare when he's trying to build an empire.
Yeah.
There's strict standards, so I get it. and maybe you weren't cut out for it. And that's fine. You know, not everybody's willing to stick around, but 90% of his cast is stuck around.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
you know, it's worth it to him. He was definitely fun to watch. Mug Club was awesome. Rumble is growing really big, really fast now.
I've heard that.
They've integrated a way to where you can like switch between platforms and stuff now, and they've integrated a subscription system. So Timcast now is doing their after show. They have their 1 hour after show after, and they've integrated that directly into Rumble, so you no longer have to go straight to their webpage to tune in. It's like a 10-second blip straight to Rumble. So if you're watching on YouTube, bloop, right over to Rumble, or you can just watch it straight on Rumble. Show just continues.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
That's really cool. Yeah, I think we should push a little bit more to Rumble. You know, they're a little bit more lenient on stuff.
Yeah.
At least we can say fucking shit. And I mean, I'm gonna have to bleep that. I'm gonna have to find.
But yeah, you're allowed to say so many before.
Yeah. And you can't say so many within like the first minute. And
yes, for the first.
Yeah, it can't be extra derogatory. Like you
45
can't
seconds or a
say
minute and a
I'm
half.
going to blank and blank blanking you.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. YouTube has, and they're updating their terms of service like every 6 months, bro. You can't even keep up. Like even if you read it the first time, you're like, all right, cool, I understand this. 6 months later, we changed some stuff, and we're not going to tell you what we changed.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Yeah, most
Cool.
of them don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, they just throw some stuff in there, and it's like, hey,
And then
good
you
luck.
ask them exactly what they mean, and they're like,
Figure it out. It's kind of like asking the IRS, like, hey, how much money do we owe you? Well, we know, but we're not going to tell you. And if you get it wrong, da-da-da-da. Speaking of, what was it? The Pentagon just failed another audit?
yeah, the fifth one in a row? Or
Seventh.
Seventh.
Oh, man. Could you imagine, as a U.S. citizen, if you failed 7 IRS audits? You'd be in prison.
It'd be probably life in prison.
Yeah. You wouldn't even make it to the
No,
7th one.
third.
That's wild, bro. So where did this $187 billion go? What are you gonna do about it? What do you mean? It's gone. What do you want from us? We bought gold staplers. How about that? All right, cool. Sometimes, you really you see the stuff that Doge is doing, super happy about it, Elon and all that.
Yeah. Speaking of, do you think he's going to do a live stream walking through Fort Knox to see if we really have gold?
I've heard about the Fort Knox thing.
Yeah, he said he wants to live stream
He
him
wants
walking through.
Nah, I don't think they're going to let him. If anything,
I don't see how they...
how they can stop him.
Yeah.
Because then doing a live stream of that'd be like going to the Pentagon and live streaming the whole thing as you walk through. You're giving detailed information about a secured facility.
Yeah, they would probably have to redact some stuff. Blur out stuff, but...
How can you do that live?
Yeah, there's features to do that. You don't do it exactly live. You have like a half hour.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, as with most things.
I don't know, but we should definitely see if there is a gold reserve or not, because I don't think there is. We haven't.
There's probably some.
Maybe. I think it's probably just lead painted.
Oh yeah. Maybe
where did
it's
we put all the
there,
lead that we stripped
but
out of the
it's just-
homes?
yeah, maybe it's fake.
Because you can't put them in landfills. So where's the lead? Yeah. You see the waste and the fraud and all the stuff that we're sending money to pottery classes in Uganda or condoms to Afghanistan.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
$400 million for
just like the
nothing.
The USAID, we were sending billions of dollars to them, and they were turning around and doing campaign funds for Kamala Harris. Huh? Wait, this is a NGO. This is like a nonprofit governmental organization who is then dipping their fingers into a political party.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's called illegal. You're not allowed to do that. That's the government picking a side, essentially. And then just the massive money laundering that we've seen going on, saving trillions of dollars. Hopefully that continues. They just, I mean, they came right out and said, like, we're not going to get it right all the time. Like, of course we're going to do things wrong because we're going through every single system, and we're trying to find every single penny. Like, if we're $7 trillion in debt right now, that's a lot of pennies. You know, you're gonna get something wrong. I'm not expecting Elon to get everything right. That's stupid. He's a human being. He can't get everything right. So, but the stuff that they are finding, it's concerning.
I wonder what it's up to right now. Like the waste, it's got to be in multiple trillions.
Maybe. Yeah, we're just gonna keep hearing about it.
Because some things alone are like 1.3 trillion. Like,
what was? Well, I know the USAID was the big thing, but I think that's just because of the name. People were calling it USAID, and it's not. It's USAID. Yeah. It's completely different. It's not USAID. They were just sending funds to weird things around the world.
Cleverly acronymed.
Yeah, just like Patriot Act. You know, you name something clever.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that USAID wasn't doing any good, right? But
it just wasn't much.
Yeah, it's not close
it's
to
not
the
worth,
scale of.
it's not worth having around.
Yeah, it's not worth keeping it around. Yeah. For sure. That's one of the arguments that I know a lot of people are making. Oh, they're stripping the education system. They're going to make it so that your kids can't get free lunches. Nothing to do with it. Because I just learned the Department of Education has nothing, absolutely nothing, to do with school lunches. That's the Department of Agriculture. So if we strip funding from the Department of Education, lunches won't get touched. It can't. Federally cannot be touched because it's the Department of Agriculture.
Yeah, if they have nothing to do with it, Huh.
The stuff, man. Like, it really does seem like half the time they're just throwing a bunch of shit at the wall and seeing what gets espoused back fastest. Like, propaganda. And by the time it's like, well, this is fake, they're on to the next.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is how propaganda works. That's wild.
Do you think, I mean, probably not, but do you think Trump is going to be able to actually successfully do away with income tax?
I saw a snip from a story just yesterday. I didn't get around to reading it. I don't think he's going to be able to. Lowering taxes would be fantastic, but I haven't dived real hard into it, so I'm just trusting the people that I listen to.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people that actually pay into federal income tax. It's like less than 40% of Americans. So you have to be earning a median of over like $80,000 a year to even pay 1 cent back into federal taxes.
Well, no. If you own your own business, you have. I mean, you have to pay in.
No matter what.
Unless you have children.
Because I know tax credits are one thing.
Yeah, your tax credits
can you
don't outweigh
claim tax credits on a business?
it.
Like children tax credit on a business?
Yeah.
You can.
Well, yeah, if that's just your employment. You can, because they're just a tax credit when you do your taxes.
Even for a business.
Yeah.
Interesting. I did not know. I thought you could only claim your children on a personal tax form, not on like a company's tax. Isn't it different? Doesn't a company have its own tax and then you have tax?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Like I don't own a company. It's just my personal.
Okay.
business.
Okay.
Yeah. A company can't have children.
Yeah, that's what I was a little confused about.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess the
that's like an
LLC.
LLC. If an LLC is doing their taxes,
Yeah.
That kind of earned income wouldn't work.
Yeah.
I don't think it would.
So like the head of the CEO of an LLC, he files taxes for his taxes, but then the company files their own taxes.
Yes.
But you owning a small business, all of it is incorporated into one.
Yeah.
So won't there be a benefit of actually registering an LLC for your business?
No, an LLC. No, you'd have to be a big corporation, not a limited.
Well,
license.
anything could be corporatized, can it?
It's a long process.
Okay.
But like our like Pudgies, they were just able to do it, and they had to go through so much.
Southside?
Well, Pudgies in general. Pudgies is an actual big corporation now, not just an LLC.
I thought they were corporatized for years now.
Nope, 3 or 4 years. It hasn't been that long.
Oh, that's when they. Oh, that's why they opened their main office.
Their corporate
Okay,
office. Yep.
okay.
Right next.
That
door.
must be a requirement.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, that was a weird hard segue.
Yeah.
Elon Musk and Doge. Oh, I know we talked about this on. We should definitely talk about it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elon Musk with voting for Trump, becoming a part of Doge, and just the screaming about it. Oh, we didn't vote for this. This isn't what we wanted. It was absolutely. Back in September, Donald Trump said, "I will form a Department of Government Efficiency." Elon Musk is going to head it.
That he named it that.
It is what Elon said on Joe Rogan the other day, that he didn't come up with it, that somebody he was like talking to said you should name it this, and he was like, that's perfect. So
he was on Joe Rogan again.
yeah, just recently, where they talk about the salute and everything, and it's a good episode. It's a good
I'll
episode.
have to watch that.
They dive into like the different things that they've been finding, and of course SpaceX and all of that.
Sick.
So,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that.
just to talk again about like Elon Musk and the insanity that has happened with him. I don't know much about the man, right? Because he's been here for a while and he does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they're trying to like besmirch his name, and really the only thing that I keep seeing is he has a bunch of children with a bunch of different women, like 13 children with 5 women or
But
something.
aren't they all about that? He's just living his life. I don't think Elon Musk has ever espoused that he's a Christian or that he believes in Christian moral values. So what's the problem?
Yeah,
He's literally the wealthiest man on the planet, and he just likes having kids. What's the problem with that? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know.
These crazy moral absolutist progressives who then try to turn another person's morals against them. It's like, bro, you have no morals. So, like, stick to your own. Like, don't come at me trying to. What is the saying? It's not throwing stones in a glass house, but it's like not pearls to swine.
Pearls to swine.
It's basically just like looking in the mirror, like fix your own house. Like you don't hold yourself to a certain moral standards. Don't come at me talking about my moral standards, because you obviously don't understand what my morals are. You don't get it.
Yeah, and he's quite generous. Like he gives away hundreds of millions of dollars worth of stuff all the time, and I can't see
Paid
when
the
people are
single
like,
most amount of taxes of any individual ever.
Yeah.
He paid like $7 billion in taxes just a couple years ago.
yeah, and they
Wasn't
they keep,
enough,
They keep saying,
apparently.
oh, with all his money, he should be able to help the entire. Instead of sending rockets into space, he should help, everybody in the country. And
He
why?
literally is.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, he's trying to
can't.
make us a multi-planetary species.
Yeah.
That is the most help that you can do for the human race.
Yeah, he gives stuff away all the time. He's trying to save this country with all of the just garbage spending. One person cannot help every It's just this terrible argument. Like one person can't help every single person.
He's not Jesus.
Yeah.
But even Jesus couldn't help everybody. He was still a human being that had to walk from place to place. So like he can't do it all.
Well, he's supposed to like write checks to every organization in the United States, like hundreds of thousands of organizations. Like this doesn't make any sense.
Just so that they could do what? Waste it on condoms in Gaza? Okay, yeah, let's do that. No, he wants us to go to Mars, colonize Mars, and become an interplanetary species. That is I believe, the single most important thing for human beings. We have seen, or we at least teach, of extinction level events on this planet. It will happen again. An asteroid will hit us, a solar flare, something. Or biblical. Maybe God comes back and decides to smite us. It's going to happen. It's a matter of when. So unless we start colonizing other planets, as a species, we will eventually cease to exist. There's nothing more. Like, do we want to see our galaxy? Do we want to see what's out there? Do we want to learn about new stuff in the cosmos? Or are you just mad that a billionaire is running a department in the government of the United States?
Yeah, and they've also they're mad about him getting a government contract of what was it, like $400 million or something like that to build.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sure that was like a stipulation, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
like that's not
he
that
is-
much money
yeah. And
compared to what he already is doing.
Yeah.
And that's nowhere near the amount of money that they're wasting on garbage. I don't.
And he's a businessman. Do you really expect him just to do all this for free?
Yeah.
Like, he has 3 companies to run. You think he's just going to spend his free time doing this? Like, come on, man. Altruism is one thing, but stupidity is another. Like, you can't expect somebody who runs 3 businesses, who has shareholders, stock shareholders, to make sure that they earn money, to build rockets, build cars, innovate, is just going to say, nah, put all that on hold, guys. I got this. Come on. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean the only thing he's done terrible is introduce Cybertrucks.
Yeah, that thing is so ugly.
It's awful. They break. They like they peel off. Like their parts just fall off and stuff. Yeah. And
he pushed too hard to get it out on the date that he wanted to.
Yeah, that it needs a lot of work.
It is cool.
It's awful.
But I mean, the Model T wasn't nothing special either, right? So it's going to take years to innovate and
I mean, yeah,
get it up to
that's
snuff.
true, but it's basically a moving dumpster.
I don't think it's picking you up very well.
Oh, what happened?
Pull it a little closer to you. Oh yeah, we might be real quiet there for like 30 minutes.
Well, no, I've been keeping an eye on it, and
yeah, I didn't see.
It was just right there. That's weird. Maybe I was just moving farther and farther back. And
you were a little bit.
Maybe it wasn't. Oh, I think that's what it was.
I mean, it was still reaching about 30, but
yeah,
the line just wasn't really picking you up. It's still having a hard time picking me up, but it is what it is. We'll get used to this. I mean,
yeah, it's been a while.
It was different when we had Adam here to like make sure he was watching the dials and do all that stuff.
He was like, "Hey, move closer, move
closer."
closer.
We'll get used to it for sure.
Yep.
Oh yeah, just to stick with the Elon thing. Like I said in our little test, it is astonishing to watch how the man who was the hero of the left and people who wanted to save the planet and all this, how he can be just automatically overnight, assumingly just a Nazi.
Yeah.
Like I told you, I've had this conversation with a couple of people, and it does shut them up. I don't know if it's really a gotcha, but it's definitely like this is a logical fallacy for sure. If he was your best friend less than a decade ago, because he was doing all this wonderful stuff, creating cars to save energy, to get us off of fossil fuels, sending rockets into space to make space more affordable, and just overall trying to save the planet, now, all of a sudden, simply because he has a few different opinions than you, he's a Nazi.
Yeah, he's still doing the exact same things.
And you say he's always been a Nazi. Okay, so you're saying that he was a good Nazi back then.
Yeah, they were following Nazi.
Yeah, so you thought, well, this is a Nazi I can get on board with. So, like, do you see where the contradiction is here? And I hear it every day how they're just muddying the water with fascist. Everybody's a fascist. Everybody's a Nazi. These words are going to have absolutely no meaning. Like in the next 5 or 6 years, somebody's just going to say it and it's going to be like, shut up, bro. Like,
I mean,
they're just
you
going to
ask
be looked at like crazy
the average
people.
person what each of those mean, and they're not gonna really exactly.
They have
know.
no idea. They're going to be like, somebody who likes to exterminate Jews. So Palestinians? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? You have no idea what National Socialism is, and you have no idea how a fascistic government works. The United States is not a fascistic government. If you want to look at a fascistic government, maybe look at Ukraine right now. They have a completely state-run media, and they do not hold elections. That's pretty fascist, my guy. Like, I don't know what to tell you. If you can't see the writing on the wall, then whatever. There's videos on YouTube right now. You can go watch a 45-minute deep dive video on what fascism is, how it's been implemented in the past, how the ideal started. And there's like 10 videos in a row that will teach you everything you need to know about fascism. Yeah. They'll talk all about Hitler, Mussolini.
Leads to a lot of people dying.
They'll talk about Stalin and Lenin and how their communist styles were pretty fascistic. So it is what it is. You can very easily learn about this stuff instead of just listening to a talking head saying, this is fascism. Oh, he said it's fascist, so it's fascist. How about you learn what fascism is and then make the determination for yourself? That's, I think, one of the most critical things is there are definitely a lot of people who just hear a thing and then just believe it instead of making the determination for themselves.
Yeah. Or they're going to cherry pick.
He's
doing this exact thing, and then Hitler did this exact thing, and they're kind of similar. So
Hitler was a vegetarian and owned dogs and drank water. So you're all Hitler. I love it. It is fun to watch. I have to myself personally stop giving into like rage bait because that is the biggest thing on social media is it is one giant rage bait thing. But sometimes, man, when I see people say stupid stuff, you just got to be like, bro, you're saying the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Can you please not? You're making everybody else around you dumber. I don't know. Maybe just go read a book or something. Like, you absolutely have the right to say what you're saying, but I then have the right to tell you how stupid what you're saying is.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword, is it not?
Yeah, I've seen that recently where you'll have people in comment sections saying, "Oh, he's allowed to give his opinion. Why are you bashing him?" It's like, that's my opinion to bash him. Why are you bashing me for stating my opinion on what I think about him?
Just as he's allowed to say what he wants about something, I am then allowed to say how bad of an idea it is. It's kind of how free discourse works, If you say something, then expect at least one person to criticize what you're saying. It's just how it is. We're not all copy pastas here, so
creepy pastas maybe.
There's a lot of creepy pastas online. There's a lot of them. Have you seen all the arrests and the uptick in TQ violence across the country? Trans and queer. There's been an uptick because of course the machine is saying we're going to take away their rights and we're going to stop making them exist and blah blah blah. So there was just recently 2-3 days ago a trans woman, a man was arrested for plotting with bombs to like assassinate.
Who?
Caught with bombs. I don't remember the name or anything. I just know.
No, I meant like assassinate who?
Elon. That's no. Caught with explosives, with plans to blow up a Tesla, not factory, but like a dealership. So like, that's really gonna hurt Elon. Destroying individuals' lives
Yeah.
that have nothing to do with Elon is really going to show Elon. It's terrorism, you know.
Yeah.
Numerous death threats every single day to both of them. It's kind of wild. The assassination attempts. 50 minutes. So we got just about 10 until we cut out.
Yeah. Yeah, an hour.
Some
Good.
things that I'm happy about the appointments. Pam Bondi, I hope she does good. Kash Patel, never thought in a million years he would actually
Yeah,
get.
I was actually gonna mention that. Yeah, that's
I was so
awesome.
surprised. Yeah, I really hope that they get some stuff done. Tulsi Gabbard, like she's as Senator's Road as it gets. Like she is kind of conservative on things, but she was a Democrat for 20 years, man. Like I like her. She's awesome. She's got a strong head on her, and she has a lot of experience.
Yep.
She's going to be good for the intelligence agencies. I'm happy about the appointments. I am frustrated with the slow roll for the Epstein files. And I don't know if you've heard about this. It was really big on X. There were influencers who were given a packet and had like a publicity photo op of them with a packet saying this is the Epstein files and blah blah blah. It was nothing. So they were just files with information that's already readily available. And there was a link on a government website that said this is a link to the files, and it was a link to Rick Astley's Never Gonna Let You Down. The government rickrolled people who want the Epstein files.
Okay, that's slightly funny.
It is funny, but it's also
It's like
children were raped, bro.
yeah.
It's not the time to rickroll people.
No.
We've been wanting these files for years.
Yeah, it's one thing if they had another link underneath.
Yeah. We understand you can't just walk into the FBI and then throw the documents out to the people. Yeah. We get it. But to rickroll when it comes to people's lives. So, hey, I'm more than willing to criticize Trump and his administration when he does dumb stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty dumb. Give us the files. We want to see it. Give us the JFK files. Give us the UFO files.
Yeah.
Let us know what's going on. You know, be transparent like you said you're going to be. He has 4 years to do it, but the longer he takes, I'm going to get a little bit more furious every time. You know, when if Kash is head of the FBI for like a year and we still don't have the files,
it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, then I'll be like, Kash, you didn't do your job, bud. I'm sorry. Like, I'm glad that you got in there, and I'm sure you're doing a good job, but you didn't do, like, the one thing you said your entire campaign that you were going to do. You didn't keep your promise, bud. I'm sorry. So, I like you, but I'm very sad about that. Yeah, I'm more than willing to criticize Trump on things. The meeting with Zelensky, that was strange to watch, but I'm glad that they gave us the opportunity to watch it. The back and forth with Trump fans and Zelensky. Check that out too. I don't
so much to catch up.
Yeah, they say the talking points is Zelensky was just being strong and firm, and then the other side is Zelensky was being disrespectful. I don't think Zelensky was being disrespectful. I think he is anxious and nervous because now he can't just get the money. So he's like, if I don't get the money, I'm going to be killed when they walk in. Like when Russia storms through, because they will, I'm done. So he was like, bro, please. He was kind of like begging. Like, please, just listen to me. Please, we need it. Otherwise, Ukraine is done for. So I think he was desperate. He was very desperate. He seemed desperate in the interview.
Okay.
And then, Trump and Vance were like, we understand. We do kind of sympathize with you, but we've given you plenty, and we are about America first. So unless what you're offering us, unless you can offer us something that will benefit the American people as a whole, I'm sorry, you're going to have to fend for yourself. I understand we made this agreement with you if you get rid of your nuclear arsenal, that we will protect you. But at the same time, we've also been like poking the bear with Russia for years now. And we can't indefinitely fund a war, a proxy war, with one of the world's greatest militaries and economies just so that we can go under with you. I'm sorry. Your one small country is not worth all of America, my guy.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, America first.
Yeah, because at best, we get into a war with Russia and win. And
There would be no winning.
well, I mean, and
There's no losing, but there's definitely
yes,
no winning.
Yeah, we would win and be like decimated.
Yeah. Yeah, there would be no recovery.
Well, decimating is taking 1/10 of. We'd be
Oh, we would lose 1/10 of the
partially
country.
destroyed. Oh, more than that.
Yeah.
We'd be
At least we would lose 1/10 of the country for sure. Yeah, with when you're dealing with countries at this scale, China, Russia, all of like the Saudi region, America, like there is no such thing as winning a war with that scale.
Yeah.
There's not. Like you're either going to decimate or you're either going to completely destroy 1/3 of the planet.
Yeah.
Or we just don't do it.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Yeah, it all comes down to making people foot the bill for the war and a bunch of people dying.
Yeah.
It ruins economies unless that country just somehow wins and none of their people die, but it still ends up with another country being destroyed and people's lives ending. And
I don't see how Ukraine can win. There's definitely a lot of people out there who are like, they have a shot. I don't think you understand, bro. They don't.
No.
They're conscripting 50 and 60-year-old men because they're running out of fighters. The only other option is to then convince other European countries to send troops. Then those countries are now at open war with Russia.
Yep.
That's World War III. If you have 3 or 4 separate nations fighting a global power, that is a world war.
Yeah.
There's nothing good that will come from that. Like, nothing.
Yeah,
well, we have to stop a fascist dictator. They have a different culture. They have different people. They have a different government.
Yeah, and they really ain't
maybe
hurting anybody. Like
maybe
they kinda stick to
fascism
themselves
works
the most
for
part.
them, honestly. But like, if you really look at it, maybe that's how their culture works. Maybe that's what works for them. There's nothing wrong with a fascistic government if it runs properly.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't have to be tyrannical. It can just be fascist in nature. A economy, businesses, and its people controlled by a government doesn't mean it's tyrannical. It will probably end up being, but if that's how their country
people
works,
in charge do it for the right reasons, and I mean, it's gonna work out. Or
it could.
Yeah, it could work out.
Look at the Saudis. They have a very, very strict government. The princes run everything. The women have no rights. But you don't hear a lot about strife in those countries. You don't. It clearly works for them. So who are we to say that another country is evil simply because they run something a certain way? Of course, morally, we can say certain countries are doing things wrong. China with enslavement of Uyghur Muslims. And
Yes.
like completely controlling all narrative that comes out of that country. You're not really giving your citizens like a right to actually live a life. They're just more of like a pagan machine. But if they're happy living that way, whatever, just don't try and get involved with us.
Being content and happy are two different things.
That's true. Happy is kind of a perspective, though, right? If you don't realize that you don't have something, then you can't yearn for it. So, you know.
No, you can yearn for something you don't know.
To an extent.
Yeah.
To an extent, you know. Like, before the time we knew about outer space or the sun or anything like that, I'm sure nobody was like, man, I really hope I could go up into outer space someday. It wasn't a thing, but maybe they were like, maybe I could explore this sometime, or they were wondering,
No,
what's
there
really
probably
up there?
was way back in like Greece or something where they were like,
Well,
I
they
wonder
just
what's-
thought that's where the gods resided. That's God territory. Maybe one day I could become a god. Sure, that. But they weren't like, I'm going to build a space rocket and fly to that red dot up there, you know? So-
or more like early 13s and 14s, like Galileo, like way
Yeah.
back, you know,
Oh, yeah,
1,000
visions and
years ago.
dreams.
Maybe not 4,000 years ago, but like 1,000, 2,000 years ago when they were learning about astronomy and
there we are.
yeah, that. Oh yeah, 1 hour mark.
Do you want to kick outro?
Yep. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I know it's been 6 months or so, but we're hopefully going to be back weekly. I got a lot of catching up on.
We all do. We got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's
We
there's
are
just
very
so
busy.
much. He's
We
only
are.
been in what? He's been president for two-ish months, a month and a half, 2 months, and he's already done so much.
we
so
didn't even
much.
we didn't even get to talk about egg prices. And how
Oh
much-
yeah.
Um,
Thanks, Joe Biden. But
lots of stuff.
Yeah.
We got a lot going on. I have a couple of big things in my personal life going on, but we're going to do our best. Jesse has some big things. Do you want to make the announcement?
I'm getting married.
Yeah. Jesse's
September.
Jesse's engaged and getting married. That's fantastic. I have my own things. My mother was recently diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. She had stage 2, fought it and won through chemotherapy and immunotherapy. But she just recently was now diagnosed with stage 4 in her lung, spine, and neck. So, you know, a lot of family stuff going on. We're doing our best. We're going to try to recover from that. I hope she's strong enough. She fights. And, we got a lot. So I'm going to be editing the videos. We're going to try to push a little bit harder to maybe get things more on Rumble. YouTube, of course, we're going to pop through.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, we have everything uploaded to Rumble. At least most of them. I think I got them all.
Yeah.
But-
But we don't really push for like more on Rumble stuff. Whenever
That-
I watch an episode, it's always on YouTube. But
Yeah.
I got to get more. I want to start pushing away from YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, Rumble's the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
we'll figure out what we're doing next week. We'll have an actual list of topics. We'll see what
For sure.
transpires the next week, and
I'm sure a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And on that note, goodbye. Goodbye.
All right. Thanks, guys. See ya.